This the War Report, coming live every Tuesday at 7 with Steve, Cat, Ryan, Amanda, and Eric, and the voice of NEW, Vince Berry, hitting all the topics like a clothesline flurry. Turn up your speakers and hear them out. You can listen from your car, even on your couch. They too raw, who NXT, handing out smackdowns, follow on IG. Plus, it's sponsored by Tag Me a Date. Go to YouTube and sub now for every update. It's all wrestling here, no safe space. Now listen in, time to hear from some of the greats.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody to another edition of the War Report After Dark. We lost another good one. The homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, ECW legend, Sabu. Not a great way to start the show.
Definitely not.
Thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Wish all the best.
Yeah.
He was awesome. We got to meet him too, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And a super nice guy too. Really nice guy.
He absolutely was. There's a picture of me, Steve, and Big Heck with him, and Jeannie as well.
That's right, Jeannie too.
Photo.
Does anyone know what what happened exactly, what the cause was? Or
Not
he
sure.
was only 60.
So
He
far,
just had a sick, crazy match a few weeks ago.
So far, it's being ruled as a heart attack.
I mean,
That was the
wouldn't be
latest
surprised.
a couple of hours ago.
It's a shame.
But yeah, I didn't get to meet you guys obviously because I wasn't with Tag Me a Date back then. But I met him at Hammerstein for One Night Stand.
Nice.
Nice.
Ironically, for how freaking crazy that man was in the ring and the shit he did, his personality is like the sweetest, gentlest dude ever. Like,
Yeah.
goes down as one of my favorite to have met because he was such a down-to-earth, sweet guy. Like, you would have been, like, you would think you'd be intimidated. Not even close.
Yeah. Yeah. So far from the character that he
Exactly.
played on TV. Yeah. He was awesome. Well, I guess, true to form, before we really get into it, I guess we should get right into our good friend over at YouTube, David Rosca. Happy birthday. Today is his birthday on the
happy
day
birthday,
Trish
David.
Stratus won her second women's champion. So happy birthday, David Rosca. He was 11 years old when that happened. So happy birthday, man. Thank you for tuning in as always. Tara's here. Rip Sabu, way too young. Yeah, of course. I was wondering that too because he was very young. Yeah, I mean, heart attack makes sense, unfortunately. I mean, you know, the shit that he put his body through.
Right? And like you said, the fact that he was wrestling, what, it was 2-3 weeks ago that he did his retirement match?
And some spots that were very questionable at 60 years old.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like, he really fucked himself up pretty good in that match.
This is a guy that stitched himself up in the middle of the match.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, who the fuck does that? He was crazy. But he was fun to watch. I mean, some of the best feuds I remember watching in ECW, Sabu was a part of. So, and everything about it, his music, Bill Alfonso, even though you wanted to choke him with the whistle. But they were a great dynamic. And his feud with Taz was amazing. I mean, there were a lot of them, but Yeah. All right. RVD. Yeah. I mean, there were so many. So
Even his AEW return with even helping Adam Cole,
that's
Yeah,
right.
that was cool too.
a really cool spot. Like he was still able to do stuff, and you were still entertained by what he did. It's not like some of the old guys that come into the ring or whatever. I mean, 60's not that old, but come in and you're like, oh god, this is going to be bad. When are they gonna-"
It's funny because you're right. 60's not that old, but in wrestling years, it's old.
Exactly.
Especially when you wrestled the way Sabu did. You know what I mean? Like his whole career was just hardcore shit. And, I mean, listen, there's only so much that a body could take. I mean, you talk about the barbed wire and the exploding, death matches and fire. And I mean, the scars were all real, folks. You know, all the people that say, oh, wrestling's not fake. Every scar you see on that man's body was all real deal shit. So
100%.
he was
And,
one of a kind.
And despite his very short WWE run, there were still some memorable things. He got his WrestleMania moment with the ECW legends.
Bro,
right?
I still to this day remember his debut where he just leaped off the Raw sign on the stage.
Yeah. During that.
And then
thing,
I don't remember who was at commentary, but they were screaming, "Holy shit, it's Sabu!" You know, and that was like the first time you saw him in WWE. That whole invasion line with ECW was so great.
And that was early too. That was like '97.
That was one they didn't fuck up.
Correct.
WCW, another story. But
Right. And then even the Royal Rumble, he still got eliminated in a memorable way by being chokeslammed through a table.
Yeah.
well, he would have it no other way.
Right.
If I'm getting the choke slammed over, I want to go through a table. That's probably what he told him. So, all right. Well, listen. Backlash. I want to get into Backlash. I didn't have the highest expectations going in because it's Backlash.
Right, that's fair.
Whatever. I got to tell you, I think it was a home run.
Me too.
I loved every single match. I enjoyed it only being 5 matches. It was over by like 10:30, I think. But I loved everything about it. I loved all the finishes. I loved the matches themselves. I thought it was an absolute home run. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I'd go so far as to say, and this is just my opinion, but I've heard it from others, that I enjoyed Backlash better than Night 1 of WrestleMania.
See, I enjoyed Night 1 of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I've been hearing it too, but I enjoyed Night 1. And quite honestly, I enjoyed Night 2. Even with the finish of the main event.
Night 2 as a whole was great.
Yeah, but I didn't think Night 1... I mean, listen. Night 1 wasn't anywhere near as good as Night 2.
Correct.
But I didn't not like Night 1. I don't know. Maybe it's just the WrestleMania feel. I don't know. But I didn't hate Night 1. And there were a lot of people that were very heavily disappointed with Night 1. And I get it. But I don't know. To me personally, I didn't think it was that bad. But Backlash was, I think, fantastic. Kat, what do you think about Backlash?
I enjoyed it. My only issue was, and like I said, it's not even really a major issue because it's just me as an individual or whatever. I just found it weird that not a single title changed place the entire show.
But it's something that you're talking about.
Correct. So I said it's
because I got to tell you,
entirely a complaint.
But I got to tell you, I thought the same thing. I said, wow. I said, we just had a whole pay-per-view, not one title changed hands. It's something different. Usually you have at least one title change. It's very few in between that you have an entire show with a lot of titles on the line where none of them changed. So I actually didn't mind that. To me, I'm like, okay, that was something different. And I'm happy. The only one I really thought going in was going to change was Valkyria and Becky. I thought Becky was going to get the belt. But, and we'll get more into it. But but that was the only one I expected to turn.
Yeah.
As a whole, I was very satisfied with the show, same as you. I did not see a bad match, a bad finish, or anything like that in regard. Like I said, the Becky Baya one we'll talk a little bit more about, but as a whole, I enjoyed the show. Like I said, that's just very, like you said, doesn't happen very often where that occurs. So that was weird to me to see, but not that I didn't like it.
Right. No, I got you. All right. So the opening match, we had Jacob Fatu, McIntyre, LA Knight, Damian Priest, Fatal 4-Way. First, I got to say, this was one of the more enjoyable Fatal 4-Ways that I've seen in a very long time.
Agreed.
I was fully invested all the way through. Jacob Fatu was incredible in that match. They actually, I shouldn't even say that. They all were great. There were a lot of great spots. I love what they did with McIntyre and Damian Priest. That got them kind of out of it towards the end when they did that table bump off to the electrical area, which the only thing I was thinking, because they made point to say the electrical area, and I was thinking, okay, we're going to get sparks and shit. We didn't get that, but not the end of the world. But I thought the finish to the match was great. We did have an unexpected surprise. There's been a lot of talk about it going to be coming, but we didn't know in what capacity. And it looks like Jeff Cobb is aligned now with Jacob and Solo and their bloodline, although Jacob definitely didn't seem to be in on the plan. You could read that in his face, and obviously he retained his title. Cobb is a beast. My question is, and I'm not saying it's wrong, but Cobb is not Samoan. So I'm surprised they didn't use another bloodline-ish person.
Like Hikuleo.
Or bring in Zilla, or, anyone else. But I was surprised that it was Jeff Cobb just because he's not Samoan. I guess they don't have to be Samoan. I just thought that was odd.
I mean, the Tongans aren't Samoan.
Well, true, but it's close enough. I mean, they're, it's like the same division. But, so, I don't know. I thought that was kind of odd, but Cobb is a beast.
Yeah.
And he's had some great matches with Jacob prior to the WWE. So, and with Penta, too. So, This can really be something good. I mean, Jeff Cobb is no slouch. And obviously, he's being set up to be Solo's new hunchman because Jacob is separating from those two. He is so fucking over. I mean, you got a match with all those people in it, and Jacob was the most over the entire match. By the way, shout out to St. Louis. Crowd was awesome the entire fucking night. Absolutely fantastic. So, what did you guys overall feeling? But Jacob is a star. That match was, what a great way to open the show.
That match actually went down as match of the night for me because I just, from start to finish, like you said, with the electrical units, with Jacob or whatever, the whole spots and everything between, what's his name, even LA Knight, going up to the top rope and doing all that stuff. They just incredible match.
I think they legitimately brought more interest back to the U.S. title scene after Jacob's win at WrestleMania.
It shows you the title doesn't make the person makes the title.
Amen.
But
Jacob Fatu is making people give a shit about that title.
Yeah, and then,
because they know that he's deserving of that title.
Yeah, and you got all these people, wanting to go for it. I love it.
Yeah. It's great. It really is.
Everybody brought their A game in that match.
Yeah.
And I heard, I don't know how severe this is, but I heard Drew got a little bit injured.
So I heard that too, but then in the press conference, I actually watched it because it ended early. In the press conference, Triple H did address it and said he's fine.
Okay. Well, that's
so yeah. So, great way to open the show. Like we always say in a pay-per-view situation, if you're not last, you want to be first. What a great way to open the show. Then you had Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch. That match, I've never given a shit so much more about Valkyria than I ever have. She was phenomenal in that match with Becky Lynch. Now, a lot of that could be because she had Becky Lynch, and she's a great dance partner. But Lyra Looked
There's
like
also
$1,000,000
chemistry together.
The chemistry was phenomenal. Lyra looked like a star. The match was great. I have to just say this, and this is shitty of me to say, but I got to say it anyway. So please forgive me in advance.
Oh, Jesus.
But all you guys out there that have fantasies
Oh,
of
God.
being with a WWE women's star, and you don't think you have a shot in hell because of the way you look, or maybe you're dorky, or this, that, whatever, right? They showed Lyra Valkyria's fiance in the crowd, and if he could grab a WWE women's star, any guy can. There's a chance, boys. There's a chance. I'm just saying. Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're not.
They shouldn't have even showed him. And not because of the way he looks, but like Becky's screaming at him, "Is this your girl? Is this your girl?" Whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, that's my girl. That's my." Like he wasn't really into it. It was awkward. And he's awkward looking. It was just very weird. So I just wanted to get that out there. And I know that's horrible to say about somebody, but
I've listened to so many podcasts since Backlash, and you're not the only one that's said that.
oh, I'm sure. I mean, listen, you put the guy on TV, so people are going to address it. I mean, you think like you got Becky Lynch's like with a guy like Seth Rollins. You have Scarlett, who's with a guy like Karrion Kross. You have Maurice with a guy like Miz, and then you got this guy with Lyra, and Lyra's not a bad-looking woman. So
You just gave every man in America the scene from Dumb and Dumber, so you're telling me
so you're saying there's a chance? Oh, all right.
the Samsonite briefcase somewhere. You got a shot and a prayer in hell.
You know what else I loved about that match? The beatdown Becky gave Lyra after the match.
Yes.
Yeah, she was
Fantastic. It
awesome.
got her the heel heat she needed. The only thing I'm hoping for at this point with Becky, to be honest with you, I want to see her join Seth and Paul Heyman and join that group. Be the Heyman chick. You know what I mean? To me, it's not like they don't talk about the fact that they're together all the time. People know, so put them together. So I was just thinking that's something that we could possibly look forward to. Dirty Dominic Mysterio versus Penta. I mean, Dominic Mysterio has gotten so good in the ring.
He's come a long way, man.
It's you got to really be proud of him because he was able to make himself his own Mysterio. It's so hard to step out of the shadow of your father.
Yeah.
He's
evolved.
But he has really become his own person. He's gotten so great in the ring. I love everything they're doing with him in Live in Judgment Day, and to have him in a match with Penta and to be able to keep up with Penta, which can't be easy. It was great. Penta looked great. Dominic looked great. The match was great. The finish was great. Everything about it. They're still teasing the implosion of Judgment Day. So that's coming soon. Or at least Dominic separating himself, or who knows. But, I mean, it's another home run match.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, El Grande Americano with the headbutt to Penta that cost them the match. But it's not Chad Gable.
Right,
American.
But it also makes sure that Penta is protected. He didn't lose clean.
Correct.
True.
So for those people that like to bring up the word buried, he's not buried.
No, he's not buried at all. And I haven't heard anyone say that Penta's buried. Listen, at this point, they're setting up... The odds are against Penta. They are setting up the inevitable return of the Lucha Brothers. Ray Phoenix and Penta are getting back together sooner than later.
For me, but that's just my opinion.
So that's not something we disagree on. I kind of, part of me says, yes, I agree with you, keep them separate for now. But part of keeping them separate is that you wanted people to get to know them as individuals.
Yeah.
But what people forget is that most true wrestling fans already know who they are individually because they watched them in Lucha Underground, they watched them in AEW, they know already. So when the odds are against Penta and you know his brother's in the company, it doesn't make sense to not bring his brother in. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
so that's my
that.
take on it.
I get that. And not only that, but Worlds Collide is coming up very soon.
True. That's going to be interesting. And that's also going to be at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Correct.
So, Tara, does anyone else think that El Grande Americano thing is getting old? I think it's hilarious, quite honestly. But it's going to end. It'll be over probably by SummerSlam.
I think it's hilarious every week to watch that happen.
It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious. But, all right. So, Gunther, Pat McAfee.
I'm sorry, I loved it.
Actually, before I say anything, I want to hear Eric's take on this one because he hates Pat McAfee. So, what did you think? Did you gain any more respect for the guy after the ass whooping he sustained against Gunther, but held his own?
Absolutely. And actually, that started by his awesome promo last week.
He cuts a good promo.
That was like a very impassioned, like, you know, and the story works, you know. He even gained like a little bit of Gunther's respect after the match. There was like a little nod there, right?
Yeah.
At the end. This worked for what it was. A lot of people put this match as that match of the night too, from what I've heard.
I would say it's up there. I thought they both did a great job.
I enjoyed it.
Are you turning a corner?
Again, commentary. Him on commentary is, and even that has been better for me because you got to give Pat the credit as far as making Michael Cole, you know,
more
the
passionate.
way he is now. You know, like that was a big part.
Pat McAfee brought the love of the job back to Michael Cole, which is the only reason why he didn't retire.
Yeah,
there was talks of him retiring. He stayed on because of McAfee.
Yeah, and I also think that it brought people's attention about like what kind of person Michael Cole is. He was only hated for like for stupid reasons, really.
I don't know. I was always a coal miner.
You have your own little area. I wonder if he still has the orange type somewhere.
May I have your attention, please? When they were doing that whole GM thing, remember with the fucking laptop? Yeah. See, you know what though? I knew eventually you were gonna turn, just like you did with the Miz. It was gonna happen at some point.
Oh yeah.
And we finally got him, Kat. He's becoming a McAfee fan.
But here's the thing. It was never about lack of respect. All right. Respect and likability are two different things. All right. So I always respected these people.
That's fair.
But like you said, give it time. Someone will come around, right?
I think Pat is one of the best guys on the commentating table. He just brings so much energy. And not only that, he's hilarious. And the dynamic with him and Cole. Because it's almost like when the matches are happening, McAfee's the heel. And he's constantly shitting on Cole. But they love each other. It's almost like a big brother, little brother situation. You know what I mean? The dynamic just works for me.
It reminds me of Lawler and JR in a way. Because Lawler...
In a lot of ways.
Lawler would, because Lawler would like heel it up in commentary, yes. But when it came...
Always had his back, though.
And someone was messing with JR.
Yeah.
Jerry was right there.
I have the Gorilla Bobby feeling with that because they bicker, but it's just hilarious comedy work in between calling the stuff.
Right.
I'll tell you what, if I hear Michael Cole say, "Will you stop?" I would lose my mind.
Oh, that would be amazing. So, the finale, the main event, what we all waited for. John Cena versus Randy Orton for the title, which everybody knew going into it that Randy was going to lose. The question was going to be, how are they going to do it? Who's going to show up? What shenanigans are going to happen? How are they going to make it interesting? Because anyone with half a brain knew there was no way in hell Randy was winning. Not that I would have had a problem with it, but Cena's keeping the title, right? So how are you going to do it? Well, I'll tell you one way. You get a plethora of RKOs to make everyone happy. He RKO'd every fucking person in the building. I mean, there must have been 10 bodies at one point. All the personnel from that...
You saw Daivari, Hurricane, Jamie Noble.
All of them. What I liked the flow of the entire match. Because Cena and Orton, Cena wrestling as a heel too, right. A lot of similarities between him and Orton. Plus, they know each other so well. So right. the pace of the match was great. The match itself was great all around, and I loved what they did with the finish. I loved the two ref bumps. That Randy really won, but there was no ref. All the dynamics you needed. The St. Louis crowd. Everything soup to nuts. That match was great, and I couldn't even be mad when John Cena won in the end because I knew it was going to happen, and I wasn't upset with how we got there.
Right.
And we were, not only that, but we were introduced to two more dynamics within the match and Cena as a heel in R-Truth coming out.
Who would have ever thought R-Truth was going to come out?
And of course the press conference, but not only that, but the way they kind of did a mindfuck tease with Cena's thinking about possibly remorse. So it was that. All those things were unexpected, which added to the match.
I was so happy when R-Truth showed up. Because number one, it wasn't Travis Scott.
Oh, so yeah.
You right?
Right.
But
and he's R-Truth is a rapper too.
Yeah. It was great. It was great. They really figured out a way to do it and send everyone home happy at the same time. And then you had the press conference where John Cena was going to actually speak to everybody, and R-Truth came out. And John Cena made it clear, if you say one more word, it's not going to be good for you. And he says one more word, attitude adjustment through the table, and Cena says not a word to the press and walks out.
That was absolutely brilliant, by the way.
It was great. It was great. So that brings us over to Monday Night Raw after what we can all agree was a top-notch great pay-per-view.
Yep.
So... show opens with CM Punk. Right? It started with the CM Punk promo, didn't it?
Yeah, yep.
Yes.
So, of course, Heyman comes out. Next thing you know, Rollins comes out. Breaker comes out. Things get a little physical. Sami Zayn comes out. Jey Uso makes his presence felt. He comes out. So, right off the bat, it's just chaos to start the show. And, of course, a great promo by Punk until everything got crazy. Then you had Penta versus Chad Gable. Not El Americano. The Chad Gable.
Another phenomenal match.
Such a great match.
Yeah.
Such a great match. Glad to see Penta getting over. But, Chad Gable, no matter what you say about his character gimmick and everything else, he is so good in the ring, and he can work with anybody.
100%.
So very happy with that. War Raiders versus the Creed brothers, number one contenders. Whoever wins gets the New Day. So, of course, we all wanted the War Raiders. They didn't cut it. And we got the Creed brothers. So it's going to be the Creed brothers going against the New Day.
I was very surprised by that.
I was too, quite honest.
Actually, wasn't there a thing where, I don't know if it was Pierce that came out or somebody said that because of the shenanigans, War Raiders are going to be added yet again to the match, so it's going to be like a triple threat.
I'm all for that. I didn't see that part, but if that's the case, then I'm all in.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all.
I mean, I figure that because heel versus heel doesn't often work.
We'll get to the rest of Raw, but what's been made official, Saturday night's main event, CM Punk and Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. So,
Ooh.
FYI, that match is being booked. Jey Uso comes out, has a massive yeet fest with the crowd, even picks up a kid in the crowd and starts yeeting, then gets in the ring, throws it back for another yeet fest, cuts a great promo. Gunther comes out. Great promo. That right there tells me Logan Paul is losing because we are getting Gunther Jey Uso round 2 or 3 for the title at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam, I guess. Money in the Bank, I would assume. Well, no. What match? So, well, yeah, because they're fighting. It's got to be Money in the Bank, right? Because Jay and Gunther are fighting at Saturday night's main event, no? Or Jay and Logan Paul.
Yeah.
So it's probably that match will probably happen, I guess, either at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam.
Well, is Australia Night of Champions or? Oh, thank you. My son just answered that for me. Thank you, Alex.
When the fuck is Night of Champions?
That's what they're doing in Perth, Australia. That's
No, but when?
Alex, when is that? June 20 what?
It's amazing. We asked the child, he'll know right away.
It's great.
27th.
What?
June 27th, he said.
June 27th.
That's before SummerSlam.
It's before SummerSlam. So it's probably happening there.
Yep.
Which will be even more reason why Gunther loses, because he'll be home.
Correct. He's still ranting. He's starting to tell me the card. I don't need the whole card right now, sweetheart.
You open Pandora's box.
You open Pandora's box to that kid. I'm done.
Match of the night on Raw. By far. AJ Styles, Finn Balor.
1,000,000%.
I mean, look, you put those two in the ring. What else are you going to get?
Right? And I mean, talk about chemistry. These guys have known each other for so long and probably wrestled thousands of times.
Yep.
So that match was great. I love the finish to that match as well. All around, great match. I like how Penta came back out, got back involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had Becky Lynch come out and cut another great promo. I love her as a heel. Her promo work is great.
Yeah, she's much better as a heel than when she's the face on the promos, definitely.
And even more importantly is it's brought out the baby face in Lyra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Becky's definitely made her relevant, but it's more because the chemistry. Like the in-ring work. People now give a shit about Lyra because of her in-ring work in that match with Becky. I mean, that really was a great match. But Becky's promo, fantastic. Mic drop in the end. It was great. And then you had the main event, which was Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Julia and Roxanne Perez.
I love Rhea and Io together.
I do too. I'm also fine with Rhea. It's amazing how still so over Rhea is. I love that they're using Julia and Roxanne. Those two girls are great. I want them to kind of make a decision already. Like, are you bringing them up or are you keeping them in NXT? Because they keep going back and forth. I thought it was a great match. I almost would have rather seen Roxanne and Julia go over. Like, make a statement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You've been, like, doing these sneak attacks and all this. Like, get a victory. Great match. Great match. I enjoyed it. I would have liked to see them go over. Not that I'm not happy when Rhea goes over, but...
Right.
What do you guys think?
It makes sense for all the weeks that they keep having them coming up and doing all that stuff for them to actually have a win on the show. I get it. I totally get it.
I agree. I would I preferred them to win, yeah, but it's not the end of the world that they didn't either.
Well, it also kind of sets up because for like the past.
I'm not losing sleep over it. I'll tell you that. I'm just saying.
Right. It also sets up because for at least since going into WrestleMania, Rhea and Io have not been on the same page, but you can kind of see last night the connection between the two of them, like what they had during War Games and everything. So now it's building them back up into a friendship that could still end up to another title shot going into it or whatever.
That's true. That is true.
And and the fans, also love Io a lot as well.
Yes. Yeah, Io is very over. I'm happy for her. She's another one that's great. Asuka's due back at any time now. She's cleared. So just a matter of when she's going to resurface. I'm hearing that's going to be soon. So we'll see. I want to shift gears. Talk a little Let's Fucking Go. Assuming everyone's up to date.
Oh, yeah.
Very happy to report that BJ is gone. What a fucking asshole.
Bubba was very happy about it.
Bubba was very happy. It's funny, though. Bubba was very happy, but Bubba could have gotten rid of him already, and he chose not to. So,
right.
But I'm glad to see him go. It's going to be very interesting this coming week. Jasper and Shiloh. I mean, I'm good with either one. I've been very big on Shiloh. I like the guy a lot. I like Jasper, too, though.
Right.
Jasper is a beast. I think secretly, no matter who wins, I think they're both going to be on the roster. It's just a matter of time.
I think a lot of the people that have gotten eliminated are eventually, much like Tough Enough was.
Yeah. But if I had to pick it, I think your winners are going to be Xena and I think Shiloh. I think those two are going to be your winners.
I agree, and Xena annoyed the crap out of me at the beginning of the show.
Same.
Like, I wanted to smack the shit out of that girl. She did such a turnaround. Like, she was never my pick. Remember, I even said, I said the Polynesian girl. Whatever, I couldn't think of her name. But
nasty.
But Xena, that whole turnaround, she's like a female Spike Dudley. Comes out all sweet and innocent and everything like that. Then that bell rings and she's freaking psychotic. I love it.
A big shock to me was, I don't remember her name. She was on Taker's team, the big girl.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Bailey Humphries. Bailey. I'm shocked that they sent her home. She
was the first eliminated, yeah.
If it was between her and Xena, this past in the semifinals, okay.
Right.
But the week before, I thought that was kind of early, but I did think it was very cool when Undertaker spoke to her afterwards and was like, I've got you. Don't you worry kind of thing. You're in good hands with me. So, Taker makes one call to Triple H and it's a done deal.
Absolutely. But yeah, I agree. That girl, I was shocked that she was the first female eliminated.
Yeah. Because she always, for somebody that had some of the least experience,
She delivered.
She was killing it every week.
Yeah.
They didn't have many critiques when it came to her. Instead, it was the opposite. They were
She's
shocked at
another
how
one.
good she was doing.
Yeah, she's another one that I think is going to make some waves at some point.
Oh, yeah. Well, because she's just different.
Yeah.
She's got like a China feel to her in presentation of looks. Because she's not the most feminine looking, but she's a powerhouse. And she's going to change the women's industry. She's going to be a player. I mean, I think that's actually what Taker
She's
said,
got,
that
like-
she's going to be a game changer.
She's got like an aura about her.
She does have an aura. Same as Jasper. Same as Holyfield. Holyfield, right decision. I mean, he's young in the business. He needs more experience.
Yes, but he is going to be great one day if he keeps up with it.
If he keeps up with it, that's the question.
Right, because if he does, he is going to be a top contender. He's going to be a top. He has the potential to 100% be a superstar.
You know, it's a shame too, because BJ really did have the potential if he would have just kept his fucking mouth shut.
See, I could be wrong on this, and if I am, too bad or whatever. I think his mic work was way better than his ring work.
I didn't even think his mic work was that good, to be honest with you.
I don't think it was great, but even, who was it when it was on promo day?
Bully flat out said he kept him because he's the guy that people will pay to see get punched in the face. And that I agree with.
1
But
million
there
percent.
was nothing appealing. Like, I don't think his promo work was good. Shiloh cut a much better promo. And I don't think his ring work was any
He
good.
really didn't create like any kind of character. Like he claims that a character, but he never really. There was nothing about what he said his character was that made it connect.
A white thug from the hood of California.
Right. It just didn't.
It just, he's an idiot.
Like I said, the only thing that was good about it, like I said, was his promo. It wasn't great, but that was the only thing that was kept. Because even Bubba said it one day. He goes, I wish I could really just say that he fucking sucks at everything he does. But he goes, but the kid's got potential.
That week that he did the sabotage, I don't understand why they even kept him after that.
I don't
Like,
either.
that should have been grounds for immediate dismissal.
1 million %.
You imagine if this motherfucker had a shot on SmackDown or Monday Night Raw and decided to do that on live television?
Yep.
You'd hear on TMZ that there was a brawl in the back and the wrestler's on his way to the hospital. His name is BJ.
Wouldn't be disappointed. But that's just it, though. That's where the big problem was. He thinks that he's bigger than the business, and everything he did showed that
he thought his ego. He thought he was much better than he is.
Yeah,
right.
And
Somebody lied to him.
and yeah, and when it was all said and done, Bubba said, well, "Look, you got to be able to back it up, and that's the end of it. If you're gonna talk all this shit and be this, you got to back it up."
And he can't. But that's just it. He showed little to, like, when I have to go and say that I would prefer Logan Paul over that kid, that's pretty fucking sad. Because at least anything that has to do with Logan Paul, I 1 million % think that Logan Paul has the utmost respect for this business and wants
100%.
to work.
And natural athlete as well.
But I will never take anything away from him for the contributions and how he turned this into a new entrepreneurship for him and has legit respect for this business. I don't think BJ has
And he's athletic. He's athletic.
Correct.
He's picked it up. He's putting the work in. I have all the respect in the world for Logan Paul. He may be a prick, but you got to
Absolutely.
respect him from a wrestling standpoint.
As long as he's right to the right people.
David Rosca, Zelina Las Vegas, Women's United States Champion.
You mean Zelina Vega?
I'm assuming. Yes, she's the United States Champion, and I think it was a huge mistake. I'm not going to lie. I like Zelina Vega. She gets no crowd reaction. The crowd could give a shit less that she won the title. Chelsea made the title relevant, and they should have kept it on Chelsea, or they should give it back to Chelsea. Although I do love what they're doing with Chelsea with the whole mourning and the wearing all black and she's just gold. But they should have never changed the title. You let Lyra Valkyria keep the title, but you took it off Chelsea, who is so over with the crowd, whereas Valkyria is going like this and the crowd's barely doing the whatever the bird sound or whatever. Yes.
Bird is the word.
So beware.
And please, no disrespect to Zelina Vega. I like Zelina. I think she's great. Nobody gives a shit. You listen to that crowd. It is crickets when she comes out. Even coming out with the belt. Meanwhile, Chelsea came out to a huge pop. So
part of the problem with that is this is like the third or fourth music change for Zelina Vega also as well.
New music's horrible.
It's not a good song to get people involved. And you have to stop and think, okay, wait, who is it? And across the screen, you don't even realize it's freaking her.
New music is horrible.
And we've brought this up on the show countless times. She should have went over in Puerto Rico.
Yes, 100%. Even if she lost it the next night on Raw.
Even if it was a week or a day, whatever.
Yep, agreed.
And, for all we know, she might have gotten a different reaction after that. It had that, occurred back then when she was hot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's too late at this point. We said the same thing about LA Knight at this point. It's too late.
Yeah.
And that's not to take anything away from LA Knight. I like LA Knight. I'm a fan of LA Knight. But it is what it is.
And also, to Chelsea's credit, even in that loss, she was still more, like, the way that it happened, where she was kind of like, didn't realize what was going on, and her entourage was there, and she's like, where's my belt? And, like, she was oblivious, and then that was great.
Yeah.
She pulled a honky tonk man whenever he got hit by the guitar.
That's right. She's so good. She's so talented.
I don't know if anyone remembers her character in TNA when she was the
Hot Mess.
The Hot Mess.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen clips.
Was, oh my god, that was brilliant character work. So, like, I'm glad that she's just so good that she's able to bring that out.
Yeah.
She could be any character. She's phenomenal.
She really can do it all. And we haven't seen a face run with her in WWE.
It's based on crowd reaction. It's inevitable.
Well, yeah. Same with Jacob Fatu.
Possibly
same with Dirty Dom. I never thought I'd hear the day that the crowd would be cheering for Dirty Dom.
I still don't understand why. But
we've had weeks where we've talked about there's heel heat and then there's Dirty Dom heat, and now he's getting cheered.
Is he going to have an affair with Raquel Rodriguez now that Liv Morgan's out making a movie?
I hope. No, Carlito would be very upset. Carlito's been trying to smash that for weeks now. He wants to do nothing but share his apple with her.
Don't worry. Carlito. You saw what the guy in the audience looked like. That was Valkyries. There's a chance.
Tony, there is a chance. There is a chance. Wow, we have a lot coming up in a short amount of time. You got Saturday night's main event, Money in the Bank, Night of Champions, SummerSlam.
Yep.
Plus you got AEW stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, Karrion Kross. I have a feeling big things are coming for him because there's our good friend Dave Abbey that always comes on.
Mm-hmm.
He sent me a documentary that was put out there WrestleMania weekend. Mind you, Karrion Kross lives in Vegas. You have to watch this documentary. It's about 45 minutes long. I've watched it twice already. I watched it the end of last week for the first time. I've watched it twice.
It's good.
It is so good. and it is so real. I think Karrion Kross is about to get a rocket ship shoved in his ass, and he's going to be sent to the moon. He is the number 2 merch seller currently in WWE. Number 1 is the Yeet Master Jey Uso. Karrion Kross is number 2. That's insane.
And he hasn't wrestled in how long? Yeah.
They're setting him up, though, for something. Something's brewing.
I absolutely adore him, so I'm good with that.
I love Karrion Kross. He needs to be Killer Kross. Go back to Killer Kross and just kill people.
Fall and pray.
Alexa Bliss came back, although I was kind of disappointed she wasn't Evil Bliss. I'm waiting for that to happen because I'm still hearing she's going back to the Wyatt Six. But there was no hint of anything to that. She was normal Alexa Bliss. But it is always good to see a little Miss Bliss. And apparently she is officially back full time.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, she at least had the doll with her though. So
She did have Lily with her. That's true.
Did the jacket say Fiend Forever on the back again? It did? Okay.
Yeah. Apparently that's her tribute to Bray, and she will wear it every time she comes out.
I love
That's what I've heard. I love it too. Where can I find that documentary? Tara, if you go on YouTube and type Karrion Kross, it'll come up. You'll see it's a 45-minute video. It's worth the watch. It's really well done. And Scarlett's in it too. So
Going to Alexa Bliss, whatever, and the Bray Wyatt thing, she and Braun Strowman actually got matching the Fiend tattoos together.
Oh, that's cool. Speaking of Braun,
Yeah.
has a new show since his release from WWE where he's going to be eating, I think, fast food around the world or something. Is his goal to get fat now? Like, I don't know what he's planning to do, but I'm curious to see it. And I think it's on, like, NBC or something, right?
Put him
Or
in the car with Guy Fieri.
Yeah, seriously. But I'm kind of curious to see him, like, gorge.
I would totally watch that show.
I mean, I've heard the stories, like, bro can eat.
Are you surprised by that?
Well, no, but, you know. I mean, I feel like he was interviewed once and he was talking about his Waffle House order. And I was just blown away. Like, because he was just so nonchalant about it. He's like, oh, you know, my order, you know, usually I'll start with like 25 eggs and you know, I'll get I'll get some pancakes and a couple waffles. And, like, it's literally like everything on the fucking menu.
They don't sell pancakes at Waffle House.
What?
I said they don't sell pancakes at Waffle House.
Oh, waffles, but you know what I mean.
A square pancake.
Square pancake.
You remember that show Ride Along?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that show.
There was one episode where Braun, you know, was in.
Alexa Bliss.
Right. And he was talking about how he was into this app where you could show each, like pinpoint on a map, all the places you pooped at.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. All the places he took a shit. And then I remember at one point, Alexa Bliss is sitting there and she's trying to see how much stuff she can shove into his beard. And she had, like, at one point, it was like 20 different items, like, shoved in his beard. It was fucking hilarious. I loved the two of them together. They were always fun. But, all right. Well, we are getting close to the top of the hour. Is there anything that we didn't cover that anyone wanted to mention or bring up or anything?
Has there been any, like, thing of note happening in AEW lately?
To be honest, I haven't been watching. I just don't have enough hours in the week to watch it all. So
that's fair.
I preference WWE, but I watch stuff on TikTok and whatever's up, but very little.
Well, it's NXT related, but we can also say that Joe Hendry Trick Williams is happening, and Joe Hendry's putting the TNA title on the line on NXT.
That's fucking huge. I didn't even know that was happening. That's huge.
For TNA.
Yeah, Battleground. That's going to be Joe. Yep, because Joe Hendry got attacked again last week by Trick. So that's the only thing that Santino and Ava came together and made a decision. So then that title's being
I
defended
do
on
love this partnership with TNA. I love it. I think it's great. I
So
really
it's a-
do.
Yep.
Oh.
So it is TNA title being defended on an NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, I love it.
Sorry, I can't call it a PLA. Sorry.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the top of the hour. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. As always, every Tuesday, 9 p.m., we bring you the latest in all of pro wrestling. Again, thoughts and prayers to Sabu's family. Thank you for the many, many, many years of hardcore wrestling that you brought us. He was one of a kind. There will never be another. We lost another good one too soon. Thank you for joining us. You can check us out on all social media platforms. The show airs on TikTok throughout the week. You got it on Instagram Live, Facebook Live. You got it everywhere. Anywhere you can stream a podcast, The War Report or The War Report After Dark. You search any of those, you'll find us all around. Thank you again for joining us, and we will see you again next week live, 9 p.m. on Tuesday.